That's from Pokemon Gen 3.
That's right.
Okay, we're good. Post is made.
Ready to start?
Yes.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome back to Friends of Disney, where we are friends who talk about Disney. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
You don't look tired at all.
Look, y'all, I'm pregnant. I'm always tired.
And I'm wearing a dress.
That never happens. I've never seen her in a dress except for second chance prom freshman year of college.
This is also the dress I wore literally a year ago for graduation.
You say that like I went to your graduation.
I know. You went to my graduation party. Well, you both did.
That is
We
true.
did.
We did.
We went for like an hour after everyone else left.
It was great.
Great.
Good friends.
Obviously, for today's episode, we are talking about the Descendants movies, but this is to start.
Oh, wait. I watched the wrong thing. I'm kidding.
No.
Let's not pull a me. In a
But,
future episode, there may be an incident of that.
Or
No, it's already released. That was the Lady and the Tramp episode.
No.
no.
Wait,
That would
no, that was the Aruna's Magic
Yes.
episode. That's right. Which it would have already released. Go check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in the episode how I
think you
watched
did.
it right before.
But obviously, we're talking about the Descendants movies, and this episode, all of our episodes, starting with this one, are every week are gonna be each Descendants movie leading up to
Rise of Red.
yes, the fourth Descendants movie.
I am so embarrassed. I keep thinking it's the Rise of Ben. And so I get really excited. And then I'm like, nope, red. And I'm like, oh.
The Rise of Bedna would be hilarious.
Right.
I feel like if it was the Rise of Ben, it would be like an alternate universe of switching the heroes and the villains of the first Descendants movie, to where it's like the heroes are on the Isle of the Lost and the villains are in Auradon.
That'd be interesting.
I think that would make a better story, to be honest. Anyway.
Kind of like what was it, Midnight Sun did for Twilight, the gender bent Twilight
I mean,
movie, but the Rise of Ben being like a reverse of
And Ben would obviously be the Beast.
I mean,
considering that's his dad.
Yeah.
but like,
But
also, I don't think Ben would be able to get out of the Isle of the Lost.
I don't think, and none of the good guys would, because none of them really have magic.
I mean, that, and they're just not.
That's smart.
I was gonna say like that ambitious.
They have Whitworth boy energy. Sorry for you fellow Whitworthians that watch this.
I am not. I am not sorry.
But they would absolutely have Whitworth boy energy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Daddy did this for me.
Oh my god.
Daddy. Oh gosh, I just realized how bad this could be.
But
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have so many Whitworth boy stories. It's not even funny.
They're horrible.
I know they're so funny.
Except for you, not this one.
Oh, thank
Because you married him.
I did.
And for me, best friend.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then shout out to my ex who I know doesn't watch this. He's also pretty nice.
We should get him to watch it.
Oh, I haven't reached out to him in over a year. He doesn't even know I'm pregnant.
you posted it on social media.
He doesn't look at social media.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So when was the
Eh.
first time you watched the first
I
Descendants?
like watched it upon release. Like I made sure to read the first book, which I sadly don't have in my display here. I originally had the first book, but it got ruined. So I now only have the first three.
But like the third, fourth, and second, third, fourth. Oh my gosh, who's texting
Yeah.
me right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
You showed me this movie for the first time.
it was my bank.
I was the one who introduced you to Descendants? Because I remember I showing you the third one, because we watched it in my dorm room when I was in
We also
RJ.
watched the first one in your dorm room. Because before that, I had never watched it because I was not intrigued. And then you're like,
Mhm.
but let me tell you.
I love this series so much.
Me too.
Like, if you haven't seen the Descendants movies, you're missing out because it's what everyone thinks about. Like, everyone like always like thought about like, what if Disney characters had kids? That's not Ariel because Ariel has a canon daughter.
Melody.
We love Melody. But so yeah, the Descendants movies are about the children of the Disney heroes and Disney villains, basically attending high school.
Let's like put like a little asterisk clarification on that. It's like what would happen if like the Disney princesses and princes
And villains.
and villains of like said stories of like the royalty stories of Disney.
Because
Because
what
it's
happened if their life continued on and there was more generations?
yeah, but I
Yes.
just don't want someone coming in and being like, "Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
so Troy Bolton had a child."
No, it's all the fairy tales. So the princesses, yeah, mainly the princesses for the most part.
Princesses.
Other stories like I know in the second book, Rise of the Isle of the Lost, I think is that one. Or Return to the Isle of the Lost, that's what it was. They have Merlin and Arthur from and his son from Sword in the Stone. So basically the animated Disney movies that are more fairy tale based.
When was the first time you watched this?
I don't like remember the date. I think my sister and I found it on Disney Channel like during the summer at like our grandparents' like cabin. And I remember watching it and I remember really disliking Mal, thinking she was just the worst, and then like really loving Carlos and Evie. And then being indifferent to Jay.
That's
And-
on par for the first movie.
And then I remember hearing that there was gonna be more of them. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be boring.
What I love about the Descendants series is most movies are based off of books. The Descendants series is not that. It's the series itself is the movies and the books. So the first Descendants book is a prequel to the first movie. The red book is a sequel to the first movie. The blue book is a prequel to the second movie.
Okay, now I need to read the books.
And then the purple book is the in between of the second and the third movie. And so it's really nice because, and as we talk about this movie, I'll talk about references to the first book. I think I might have annoyed Megan a little bit because I kept on bringing it up.
To be fair, I was not annoyed. I want to put a disclaimer out there if I'm acting a little off. We had like a rough pregnancy thing come up. And so I haven't been sleeping very well. I haven't been like processing emotions very well. So when Sean was like talking my ear off during the movie, I was like sitting there like looking at my phone, not because I didn't enjoy the Descendants movie, but because like my brain was still processing what was happening earlier this week. I was not annoyed. I was more just like spacing out.
Yeah, but so yeah, into the movie now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off with the beginning. In the beginning, there was a book, and they opened the book.
Once upon a time.
Sometime.
In a faraway land.
So Mal starts off like narrating the book, just like in like the Wish, like where there's like the book opening and there's like classic, and so she basically describes that Ben's parents.
There's all these really cool people
There's these really cool people, and
that live on the Isle of the Lost.
it's all the interesting people, aka all the villains, and probably the guy who looked at the king funny. And they all got banished to this like Isle of Lost, which is just an island with people that lost the ability to be at Auradon.
And there's a barrier around the island to
Yeah.
keep them there, takes away their ability to use magic. And,
And
it's-
ability to use Wi-Fi, according to Mal,
that is true.
And then everyone else who, was least interesting, according to Belle, was in Auradon. And now they're all ruled by like Belle and the Beast.
In
And
the United States of Auradon.
Auradon.
No, it's not cheese. It's like I hate that
Okay.
line. It's so cliche and stupid.
oh my gosh, but
But the whole movie is cringe. Let's admit it. It's one of those I'm a sucker for cringe movies. I love them.
Megan hates them.
My roommate hates him too, and he hates the fact that I continue to watch cringe movies.
I have a lot of like, I'm really in tune with people's emotions, and so watching things that with a lot of secondhand cringe kills me on the inside. But as I've been married to that dumb person that I love very much, have grown to appreciate it more. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I can appreciate it.
Maybe this is why we also get along so well, because we watch the same type of movies.
It's true. I have validation.
Yeah.
But so yeah, she sets it up. Basically, all the good people are in Auradon. All the sucky people are on a trash dump of an island.
Oh, and then we get to meet Prince Ben, who is turning 16.
Prince Ben, who is 16
Oh,
and
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 is
he's about to become king.
and
Which is a
he
bad idea because he hasn't even developed his prefrontal cortex, and how are you expecting a teenager to rule like the United States of Auradon?
Okay,
Sorry.
spoiler alert,
And-
but when they get engaged, that one just
and
upsets me a little.
Ben is the son of Beast and Belle, by the way.
Yeah, so he's like the titular bachelor, if you will.
What?
Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Athena P recently, and that's like what she calls the main characters. Anyway,
He's one of the main characters.
he's like the main guy, other than Carlos and Jay.
Yeah, the main male character, yeah.
Yeah, and so
And then there's Mal, which apparently I'm giving Mal
Mal.
hair vibes.
But anyways, we meet
a
Ben.
declaration that's like, I'm gonna bring 4. Sorry. I want to get this point, and then you can explain later. He's like, Mom, Dad, I have the greatest idea. I'm gonna bring the 4 worst villains, children, to the aisle, so that out of the aisle to Ordon, so that they can get like a new start, so we can like start like rehabilitating villains
Because they deserve a chance.
because they deserve a chance. And he was like, okay, so I already got them covered.
And go.
So, first off, it's not a bad idea to begin with. We can acknowledge that. We're getting there.
Okay. Sorry.
First off, just on like the declaration to bring the villain's kids over, it's not a bad idea. He
Yeah.
was right
Mm-mm.
because their kids have not done anything wrong. They're
That
suffering.
they know of.
They're suffering their parents' fate for doing nothing.
Not that I know of. Okay, sorry, I'll stop being.
But the Ben ends up Belle and Beast are like, okay, what parents have you picked like for their children? And Ben just goes down and says Cruella de Vil, Evil Queen, Jafar, and Maleficent. And,
Maleficent.
and
the
as
evilest
soon as he says Maleficent, like Belle drops this coat. The tailor that's in the room screams. Beast is going unhinged because it's Maleficent, most evil person ever. We all love her. She's great.
I don't know if she's like the most evil villain at the Disney canon, but she's definitely up there.
I mean, her title is Mistress of All Evil. The only person more evil than her is Chernabog.
Frollo.
And then they go into the next scene of meeting Jay, Carlos, Evie, and Mal cringe singing,
Rotten to the Core, which I love that song still.
and Mal stealing a candy from a baby.
Okay, let's like real quick before we continue. I'm just gonna list like which children belong to which parent.
Yes.
Okay, so Mal is daughter of Maleficent.
What?
Evie's daughter of like the evil queen from Snow White, just in case you're not like as big as Disney fans. And then Jay is the son of Jafar from Aladdin, and then Cruella de Vil's son is Carlos from 101 Dalmatians. Okay, go. Sorry, I just wanted to put that in there just in case someone was like,
But yeah, so we get introduced to the first song in the movie, Rotten to the Core, which I love that song still. It's such a fun song.
it's such a fun song.
I
Skip it.
prefer when Mal and Ben go on their date.
I like that
Agreed.
song.
Which is
But-
later on in
Musical, by the
movie.
way. This
Yes.
this whole movie trilogy, quadrilogy.
At least the trilogy are all musicals.
It starts off with a musical and then it ends, well, it starts off with a song, it ends with the song, and then there's music in between.
Yes.
But it always ends with a group dance at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so after Rotten to the Core, and stuff. They're seeing about how evil they are, whatever. And they had this weird like dance break. Some of the dance moves were cool, others were like, okay.
The dance moves is where everything just starts to get cringe.
Yeah.
And it's great.
And then we get to see Maleficent.
Who was played by the same lady
It's Maleficent in Descendants is played by Kristen Chenoweth.
who is the OG Glinda from Wicked.
Mhm.
So she was the original cast.
And Maleficent is like, hey, kids, you're going to a new school in Auradon. And everyone's like, no, no.
Yeah, they're like complaining about it. Like Jay's just like concerned that he has to wear a uniform. Carlos, despite his mom being Cruella de Vil, is terrified of dogs. Mal just doesn't want to be around prissy pink princesses. And then Evie wants to go there.
But she's trying to play it cool.
She wants to be like she wants the prince. He's like all gaga.
In all the mirrors.
Yeah, well, and then Evil Queen is also like, you just go find yourself a handsome prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But Maleficent wants to use this opportunity for Mal to,
break out the villains.
yeah.
And so Maleficent is like, so you're going to go to Auradon, you're going to steal Fairy Godmother's wand and bring it to me so I can, have my revenge.
And here's my spell book that was hidden in the freezer.
Yeah. They called it a safe, but it was a fridge.
And she couldn't even open it by herself. She needed the evil queen. I think that was hilarious.
Yeah, and so you get to see the other three parents. Cruella, Evil Queen, and Jafar have not aged well.
Cruella, like, is way more cringe out of all the parents. It's just the baby.
I don't know. I think for me it was the evil queen. That just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But
Evil Queen, I feel like they didn't do Evil Queen justice. Like Evil Queen was like pretty gnarly in Snow White.
Oh,
And then in Descendants, she's like just like even more so focused on looks. Like you just find yourself a nice prince with a big castle and a mother-in-law wing and lots of mirrors. Like very superficial, lost all of her sense of like
cruelty.
Yeah, exactly. Like that spark that made her like an evil character.
And Maleficent is just like, I want my revenge.
Maleficent seemed like Maleficent.
Yeah.
The others seemed like washed up has-beens.
Yeah.
They kind of, you know what they remind me of? They're like Wish versions of like their like OG characters. Does that make sense? So it's like knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff of Jafar.
I love it.
And then comes the day where they go to Auradon.
Yeah.
And they bitch and complain.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
and still lots of candy.
Yes.
so
In the limo.
So yeah, they get picked up by a limo, and they end up being brought over to Auradon, have a false heart attack because they think they're going off the edge of off the edge of the island.
And then a magic button.
A magic button opens up the barrier and creates a magic bridge to Auradon.
I wish someone explained this. to
And
me.
Mal loves the driver because he has sass.
Yeah.
Is this the button that opens up the magic barrier? No, this one does. But this one closes the window so he can't deal with them. And then she's like, I like him.
Mm-hmm. And so they get to Auradon, and they're greeted at Auradon Prep, the high school in Auradon.
By Prince Ben and Princess Audrey.
And Fairy Godmother and a marching band.
And Audrey is the daughter of Sleeping Beauty.
Aurora herself.
Yep, so we now have 6 children of Disney characters, 2 of which their parents are arch enemies.
Yes.
This is great.
Nothing could go wrong at all. They're gonna be besties for the resties.
And Audrey always gives Ben, Benny Boo.
It's so stupid. She-
The first time I watched this movie, I was like, I'm never gonna give my significant other a terrible nickname.
And then she meets Mel, and then she's just like, ugh. But then Ben, he shakes all of the children from the villain's children's hands, and then he's just with Carlos. He's like, chocolate? 'Cause-
Yeah, so
which disgusts me, because why would you eat chocolate?
Okay, like I have like 5 questions and they're all sanitary, and it's because I work with children, and I'm like, why would you lick something that is brown? Why would you? Why would you? Especially since it's like around like Carlos's face. So like it's like pretty like it's giving me like toddlers learning how to like use their own fingers to find their face vibes.
I
Okay.
was like, that scene grosses me out so much
So-
because like me who's worked in a kitchen, I'm just like,
You don't know what that
I don't
is.
know
where
where
it's
your
been.
hands have been, man. All I know is like you have brown stuff on your face, you have brown stuff on your hands. I can assume you were eating it. But I'm not gonna eat what was on my hand that was on your hand where you have been on an island that I've never even been on.
Right? Like, what are their sanitary standards on the Isle of the Lost? These are the questions we're not being asked. Like,
you saw the aisle. They have no sanitary standards. Their food is literally the garbage of Auradon.
Exactly.
They literally have like their garbage and leftovers shipped over to the aisle,
I don't,
and that's what the aisle gets.
damn. And here I thought everyone
Um,
was growing their own vegetable garden.
Well, and so fairy godmother ends up introducing herself as the headmistress of Auradon Prep.
I feel like
Oh, and then Ben does this clappy thing.
Hold on, no, we're not get there yet
Oh.
because back to the handshaking though. So Ben ends up shaking hands with all 4 of them, like, "Hell, nice to meet you," and it's like, "This is a great opportunity, like uniting our 2 worlds." When he shakes Mal's hand, there's a pause there. That pause is not just something for the script to be like, oh, these 2 are interested in each other. That's because of something that happened in the book prior.
Oh.
So in the first book, The Isle of the Lost, it goes, so all the descendants shift perspective. So there's always multiple things going on.
Like
and so each chapter is through a different character's perspective.
Oh yeah, I am reading a book like that and I love it.
I love those books so much.
I do too.
And so you shift between obviously the main 4 villain kids, and you also shift with Ben's point of view as well. But since this first book takes place prior to the movie, obviously those 2 don't interact with each other. So you're seeing stuff going on in Auradon and on the Isle. But there's this recurring theme where basically Mal and Ben are both having this like dream vision thing where they're at a lake and they're seeing someone that they don't recognize. That's actually Ben and Mal seeing each other at the Enchanted Lake. So that pause when they're shaking hands is actually a reference to the fact that they already recognize each other from those like dream/visits, and they're like, "That's you."
Oh, it's kind of cute though.
It is a little bit cute,
it's also very fan fiction-y.
but
I love that.
Don't get me wrong, it's very sweet. And baby's kicking me really effing hard, so I'm not.
Kid,
but-
stop it.
But this is just like one of those other details on why I love this series. And the other 2 movies don't do as well as collaborating with the books. The first movie and the first book worked so well together because it references the first book so much because it's a precursor. So everything in that first book has already happened by the time of this movie.
But like, as a continuation of Sean's thought, it's not so much so though. Where like obviously you and I didn't know that. Well,
Yeah,
I kind of knew that because he, told me.
I had no clue.
But like you still watched and enjoyed that scene. And you were like, oh.
Exactly. But like it's one of those things where it's like if you didn't read the book, you're obviously not gonna like not understand the movie.
Okay, now I'm curious about between the book from the love potion to when he jumped into the enchanted lake and the spell wore off.
What do you mean?
The love potion that Mal made in the cookies.
Let's talk about it when we get there. So anyway, so yeah, they shook hands and then Ben starts giving them a tour. He does the clappy thing in front of a statue of his dad that morphs his dad from human form to beast form.
And then the kids get put in fairy godmother's class of goodness.
Remedial goodness 101.
Oh, and we also meet Doug,
Yes.
Doug, who is the son of Dopey,
Yeah.
the dwarf from.
the dwarf Dopey.
If a baby gets locked in a tower, do you A?
Not there yet.
It's funny.
Oh my god.
So,
And then Evie and Dopey kind of have like a.
so,
We forgot to mention that Evie brings a magic mirror with her.
yes. So, sorry.
Yes.
Mal got her mom's spell book. Evie got the magic mirror from the evil queen, and it's not what it used to be. All it can really do is just show her where things are.
And answer questions.
Yes.
And only for Evie.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, and then Carlos got disappointment and Jay got sadness.
Except he got his skills of stealing things that he didn't need to steal.
Yeah.
Also,
That's
Jay is
just
a complete F boy.
You know, yeah.
In the first movie, yeah.
Not just the first one.
First and second one, yes.
The first and second one, yeah.
And the third one, he's gay.
Long story. Long story. We'll get there when we get to talk about the third one. I'll show
He's
you.
gay.
I'll point out
Gay means happy.
Stop.
I thought him and
We'll get
We'll
there.
get there. We'll get there.
Spoilers.
But anyways,
I must know more now.
we'll talk about it after we're done here.
I'm dying.
But so they end up going off to their dorm rooms and everything. Evie and Mal obviously share a room. Jay and Carlos share a room.
What? And they were roommates.
And
Evie enters the room and is in love.
it's pink and bright and princessy, and Mal hates it.
Because Mal's not like other girls.
No, Mal's not a girly
Tomboy
girl.
aesthetics, but not tomboy aesthetics.
say-
because
I'm
she
gonna
has
say-
Evie.
I was gonna say edgy aesthetics, not tomboy.
E-girl aesthetics.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, e-girl.
But she doesn't have the internet, so it's fine.
In Auradon, they do.
But she didn't before.
But she doesn't play video games.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, also, did you pay attention to that? I paid attention to it. When the boys are playing video games, it's the same video reoccurring on the TV screen.
So, okay, I have something to say about that as well. Sorry, I know too much about this movie specifically. So, Evie and Mal meet up with the boys in their room to plot getting the wand before
Oh,
chaos occurs.
Yeah, so Fairy Godmother's wand holds the power of all, essentially.
Pretty much, it's like one of the more powerful objects, and it's able to release the barrier over the aisle.
Yeah, and so they are wanting to go steal the wand to break down the barrier.
Before they have to attend school.
Yes.
And so they're in the boys' dorm and they're playing a video game, but what you don't know is that that game is actually another Disney reference, because there was a Disney show called, I think it was like Aaron Steele, that has a game in it called Hero Rising, and that game is Hero Rising that they're playing, which is another reference to a Disney XD TV show.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that in the movie, like every time I watch that scene, you keep watching the same replay of the same thing, and like the actions that Jay and Carlos are doing are not matching.
It
No.
also freaks me out how close they are to the TV. I'm like, they're gonna like hit that nunchuck through the TV.
Um,
Also, for people who have never played video games, they're like decent at it.
well, yeah, you can always learn though.
They've been there for what? Not even a few hours?
Okay, fair.
And they learned how to work a television
Um,
and a video game console?
Well, they did have like these weird televisions with antennas on the island.
well, yeah, so this gets talked about more in the first book as well, about the internet access on the island. So literally, like, the island's a garbage heap. The barrier blocks any cellular activity. And there's actually a moment where Carlos was able to break the barrier for a brief second and got TV signal, which leads to the further plot of the first book, which I don't have time to get into. But yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Anyway, we should probably move things along
Yes.
a little faster.
I was trying to keep
Um,
going.
So they go to the museum to break out Fairy Godmother's wand, and
Fail.
they failed. It's because of Jay. Jay made them fail.
Because he's such a Gryffindor.
He's
He's
such
such
a
a
Gryff-
Gryffindor.
He didn't give like Matt. They could have easily stolen it if Jay didn't have to like go barreling head first in and try to grab the wand through a very obvious force field.
Type of situation.
Also, there was a really great musical number with Mal and
Oh yeah, evil
Do you
like
wanna
me.
Be evil like me. Be
it's
cool?
really great.
Yes.
Yes, it's such a Broadway song.
Which is expecting because like
Yes.
Maleficent is a Broadway character.
Mhm.
Maleficent's wax figure essentially comes to life, and they do this whole little Mal and Maleficent
Mommy daughter dance.
dance. Yeah. Awesome. And then obviously Jay causes the issue of the alarm, and then Carlos,
Saves
sneaky
everyone.
man, goes over while when they got in there,
There was a security guard that
Yeah.
put to sleep.
with the spindle of a spinning wheel.
Yes.
And
I wonder what
but
that
anyway,
reference to.
Carlos goes over to the phone and he's like, yeah, code blah 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 blah. I forgot the code.
Oh yeah, it's just a chip in the brickwork circuit or whatever.
Yeah. Say hi to the missus for me.
Yeah, like keep playing it off, trying to like reduce any harm and stuff.
And then, thanks, Jay. We got to go to school now.
So yeah, they go to school. They're in Remedial Goodness 101, where fought for Fairy Godmother.
If a baby is locked in a tower, do you A, curse it?
Yes.
Do you B, poison it? Do
Yes.
you C, call the proper authorities?
No.
Or D,
Give it a bottle.
No.
and then it was C, call the proper authorities. Yeah.
Well, and so one, I don't think Fairy Godmother's methods of teaching goodness is very good because like Mal, huh?
What?
Well, like Mal even pointed at like just pick the answer that doesn't seem like fun. Like you can still be bad and still pick the right answers. It's easy if you're trying to make it bookwork.
So what we really need is we need Chidi Aragonye
Chidi and Agonye from The Good Place.
to come and teach these like children how to be good, like he did with Eleanor Shulstrop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Ethics class.
ethics.
And then they start going to their other classes, and this is where Evie and Doug are in chemistry, and this is where Evie
Literal chemistry class.
Yes, and this is where Evie uses her mirror because the chemistry teacher asked her a very complicated chemistry question, and she uses the magic mirror to answer the question. And
Chad,
is it the atomic?
it was
what
what
does
is the
atomic
atomic
weight-
weight of silver?
Yeah, but what does AMU actually stand for?
Atomic mass units.
Okay, I did not know, but so I would have been the person that says AMU.
In this scene, we also meet Chad Charming, the son of Cinderella and
yeah.
Prince Charming, who is
Is
playing dumb.
he's a
to-
ditz.
He's playing dumb to get with Evie and point out that she is a villain.
And Evie is like, well, I can be like your mom, Cinderella, and do all the cleaning and be the perfect wife, essentially. And he's like, but can you do my homework?
And he's also like, you did a really good job with that math problem. And she's like, oh, it wasn't like I wasn't that smart. This is how I did it, and tells him about the mirror. And he says this line of like, where's my phone? Which is also a reference to some promotional stuff before the movie released, where we actually like on DisneyChannel.com, there was like these promotional things leading up to it where you could hear like Auradon stories or whatever. And one of the things had to deal with Chad not having his phone.
Huh.
He actually lost his phone.
Dude, same.
And
Constantly.
but then she's like, it's not gonna work for you. And then she
She never got it back and didn't realize it.
yeah.
He took it from her. and later ends up framing her for cheating, which would get her expelled. But she was able to prove the teacher wrong
Because of Doug.
because of Doug. Doug saved her ass.
He really likes her, and it's really cute.
Doug and Evie have a cute relationship.
Especially in the third movie.
Yes. And so
And she gets a B on her first test.
yes, you got a B and was able to get her mirror back and prove Chad FU.
Yeah.
While that's happening, Jay and Carlos are learning about sports,
Sports bro.
and they learn about like they get
The body parts. Because Jay wants to be the fist.
well the sport that they end up learning is a sport called tourney,
Yeah.
which is like field hockey on steroids.
It's like field hockey mixed with
Cross.
yeah. I was
Plus a
like,
gun.
yeah, which is
They don't
kill
have
zone.
the actual guns. They have like arrows that they get
Yeah,
shot
it's
at.
Like frisbee gun. Like if you shot frisbee disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that there's not just like a.
It's like a softball launcher basically.
Yeah.
I just
And
wanted
so
to make sure there's no guns in my Disney films. Thank you.
And so Jay ends up like doing really well and like knocking down all these princes, both in attitude and in title.
And Carlos.
Is confused as hell. And so
Carlos is me.
and so they end up getting like on the tourney team and stuff and being jocks in the school. And Jay's loving it. It's like he's like part of a team. He gets,
F-boy energy.
but he's also like he's like a golden retriever almost though. Like he's so happy to be part of a team. Like he's
more
much more
like a-
positive.
He's like more of a wolf that finally joined a pack. You know.
I say golden retriever because like we see the change in him most.
He's a golden retriever lion.
Yeah.
Like he gets like so happy and like positive, like yeah, we can do this because we're a team, and like I don't know, it's really cute.
And then Mal goes on her next plot of how she's gonna get the wand, which Evie finds out through Doug.
Yeah, through Doug that fairy godmother is going to be blessing Ben at his coronation with her wand.
Yeah. And the only person who gets to sit up next to them is Ben, which then comes to the point where Mal.
Audrey.
Yeah.
Ben, Audrey, and his parents.
And
I hope Ben can sit in the front row of his ceremony.
but yeah, it was Ben and his girlfriend. So Evie, or not Evie, Mal, sorry, oh my God. Mal is like, well, Benny Boo needs to get a new girlfriend and creates this love potion.
Yep, and so and the love potion ended up being a chocolate chip cookie.
Which we get to meet another descendant, which is Mulan's.
Mulan's daughter Lonnie.
This scene always makes me really emotional.
So
Uh,
Lonnie comes in and is like, "Hey Mel, the other girls want you to do their hair
Because
because
there's a scene earlier in the movie where she does Jane's hair with magic and she looks cute. Jane does.
Yeah, because Jane, fairy godmother's daughter, gives her mom something while they're in remedial goodness, and Mal then encounters Jane in the bathroom and is just like, I can make you pretty.
yeah."
But your mom can make you prettier. You should get her to use her wand. Hashtag not spawn.
And then Lonnie comes and is like, "Hey, I want you to do my hair."
Like you
Okay.
did Jane's.
And so we see
And pays her.
And then so while they're making this potion, Lonnie comes and is like, "It's missing chocolate chips," while they're making the cookies. And so they're like, "What's that?" And so she starts saying like, chocolate chip cookies, like when you've had a bad day and your mom gives you fresh chocolate chip cookies like baked out of the oven, and holds you and like puts everything into perspective. And the kids are like, "Yeah, we didn't have that."
And the potion required 1 tear of human sadness, and Lonnie then starts crying, and then Mal's like, perfection.
Yeah, because they end up going through this like little bit of like a tearjerker moment where they're like, "Yeah, we don't like our parents don't do that kind of stuff. They
They don't love us.
not in that way." And Lonnie makes this comment of like, I thought even villains love their kids.
And it makes me cry.
And then Mal makes the cookies, and next day, bada bing, bada boom.
Next day, so they end up running into Ben shortly before the tourney game.
And
It's
gives
like
him a chocolate chip cookie.
gives him a cookie after no, she manipulates him to taking a chocolate chip cookie because he goes,
Yeah.
I don't eat before a game. And she kind of like guilt trips him, was like, oh yeah, I'm a villain. You got to be cautious. That's why you're not eating it. And Stephanie goes, fine, I'll prove you wrong. And eats a cookie, and the potion starts to take effect.
Just
And
makes me want to sing, Mal,
Shut up.
Mal.
and so it cuts to the tourney game where
They win.
they end up winning, and then comes the next song.
Did I mention that I'm in love with you?
So
Did I mention there's nothing
Um,
we can do?
I still
Ben,
can't smell ridiculous.
so this song called Did I Mention? Ben confesses his love to Mal despite being in a relationship with Audrey.
In front of the whole school, and Audrey's a cheerleader, and he's like, give me an M. Give me an A. Give me an L. What's that spell? Mal.
And so Audrey like runs off the field like sad or whatever, and they do this song.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
dating Chad now.
Yeah, she then declares that she's dating Chad.
So
We forgot to mention Dude.
Oh, yes.
Carlos befriended a dog named Dude.
yeah,
That's his character arc.
He was first scared of Dude, though.
he was
first
scared of
And
dogs.
Ben was like, "You've never met a dog. Here's a dog." He's like, "Oh, this is nice." And
Yeah.
then best friends.
Yes. And so yeah, they have this song that has really funny dance movements and is overall a really catchy and funny song.
I mean, but like all of the people on the tourney team are so gay.
Uh,
That's all I could think about.
dancers are not gay.
Come on.
And then Ben and Mal go on a date.
So yeah, we find out after Evie gets her B plus on the test that Ben's taking Mal on a date to the Enchanted Lake,
Ooh.
where Mal gets to try strawberries for the first time and falls in love with them.
I relate as
And
someone
she's
who's
never
great
gone
at strawberries,
She's never gone swimming.
despite living on an island.
It has a barrier around it.
Which is honestly, when you get to the second movie, is a little confusing when it comes to Uma.
We'll get to when we get to the second movie. It
Yeah.
gets confusing. But
Then she does this really emotional song while Ben is like climbing up.
no, it's while he's swimming.
Yeah. So he's off swimming and he's doing his own thing, and then she's like, a million thoughts running through my head. Don't let my heart
So
keep listening. Anyways.
yeah, so she sings a song called If Only, where she's basically like wrestling with herself of like, do I follow my mom or do I listen to my heart and be with Ben and be happy and stuff?
And then Ben jumps into the water.
No, he's already in the water.
He's already in the water during the song, but after the song, Malk like comes to realize like, Ben.
Oh, he hasn't came up for air in a while.
And
Where'd
so
he
she
go?
gets in the water trying to save him, even though she knows she can't swim.
Which is this is one of the most humbling moments too. That you see like a different side of Mal that's actually caring, because her not knowing how to swim and she still jumps in the lake to save Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and like that, like Ben comes up, saves her, and like, yeah, like I can't swim. He goes, you live on an island with a barrier around it, which again is weird considering the second movie.
Yeah.
We'll
But-
get there when we get there.
But and they end up having this heart-to-heart moment, and every other time I've seen this movie, I always thought Ben said, I totally thought I loved you, which I thought was a giveaway to the spell being broken. But we've been watching stuff with subtitles, and so the subtitles were on, and he actually said, I told you that I loved you. Do you feel the same way? Like, hey, you never said it back to me. And they had this cute moment where Mal's like, I actually don't know what love feels like. And
Because
Ben-
she's never been in love. And then he hands her this rock.
well, no, that was beforehand. Like he goes, he gets her like out, and he goes, here's a like this shiny rock. Just make a wish and throw it back in. She just goes,
I wonder what she wished though.
I don't know. I don't think she wished for anything. I think she was just
More strawberries.
Strawberries, damn it.
But,
But then the chocolate fountain scene where there's more strawberries.
I think like this is like a part where I theorize that maybe she like out of anger, you know, through the whole situation, and then her emotional song that, you know, maybe she wished to have the best of both worlds, to have a free barrier and still be able to follow her heart.
yeah. Well, and
Because that's what I'd like to think.
I'd like to think she wished for more strawberries.
well, and this is where the movie starts to really pick up, because next up is like family weekend basically.
Be our guest, be our guest.
So there's this event at Auradon coming up where like the parents can come over and stuff. But obviously,
Villains are villains and are still on the aisle.
So what they did was they brought them over in a limo. I'm kidding.
No.
They set up a FaceTime.
yeah, they video chatted and stuff, and they kind of strike fairy godmother's nerve, which was hilarious.
They were mice.
And is like giving her crap for like only giving Cinderella till midnight rather than 1 a.m. And then yeah, so and
It was really funny.
and they're like, and Mal's like, Maleficent's trying to like work around talking like explicitly like the plans and everything. Is like, how soon can mommy see you? Like cough cough wink wink, when are you getting the wand? And Mal's like, soon, we're getting it soon. And it cuts to actual family day where the
Oh.
students
What he failed to mention was like, it was like basically Elwoods is my favorite person. No, Mal ended the call abruptly because there was like family dynamic things that were just like
Mhm.
getting like too heated, and it became really uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
so fairy godmother was like, we're so sorry. We reset this up for you as a surprise. And Mal's like, it's fine, it's normal for us. But like, yeah, that phone call was like uncomfy, and it wasn't just like it's important to note that like the kids are starting to stray away from their parents' ideals.
Yeah, and it cuts to regular family day, which is a huge plot point in the movie. So all the family members are there and
Singing
everything.
Be Our Guest,
They
an acapella.
I love it. The song.
That rendition of Be Our Guest is a good version of it. Like,
And then I also think about the like, be our guest.
Okay, I think of the movements every time. I don't particularly enjoy this version of the song.
that's fair.
It's the rapping for me.
Mm, they can
You
sing,
can
sing, sing. They can
dance,
dance.
dance. After all, this
This
is
is France. Yeah.
Dude, Lafayette does it better.
And our service is never, never second best.
Lafayette's not in Beauty and the Beast and never sings that song.
I know, I just wanted to throw a Hamilton reference in there.
Uh,
And then Ben introduces Mal to his parents because they're like, oh, by the way, I'm not dating Audrey anymore.
And then
the mom is just like, I never liked Audrey anyway. Thank
She
you.
was really self-absorbed, as any
I don't like
popular
Belle in this
teenage
version.
girl is.
I'm sorry, y'all. I don't like Belle. Beast is fine.
What is your issue with Belle?
Okay, so we're gonna go back to Belle because this is the same canon of which, like, it's like based off of the movies. And Belle in the OG movie, it's much more. I'm trying to think of the right.
Patient.
I was gonna go with she's much more spoken. Like, she, like, tells the Beast that she doesn't want to spend time with him. She's more like, I don't want to say ambitious, it's not the quite word, but she has more drive to get things done. And she, yeah, it's just like she speaks her mind a whole lot more. And it surprises me that like this version of Belle is just so soft spoken when
She's barely in the movie.
But I mean, if Audrey and Ben were dating for more than 3 weeks, which we're gonna assume, I'm surprised she didn't have that conversation with him in the first place.
It's not Belle's place. As a parent, of course, I will have my thoughts on my kid's significant other. Don't get me wrong. But kids have to learn. They're gonna need to have the experiences in the hard moments. We can't deprive them of that by having to make them subject to our approval.
I mean, there's totally 100% that, but he's also a prince.
Okay, I don't like your girlfriend. She's self-centered.
Just, just throwing it out there that you're gonna roll a country one day, and is this the person you want by your side? Just throwing it out there, even if it's like it doesn't have to be an asshole sort of way, but like, what are your like? My mom did it with my sister whenever she had a boyfriend. But like, what are your thoughts on him? What? Yeah.
It's I mean, there's doing that of like setting your expectations for what you want in a partner, but it's another of creating a scenario where you're basically like whether or not I approve of them.
I don't know. It just feels like Belle is just so.
There's not a place for Belle in the movie. She's not the focus of the movie.
You're right, but I feel like the parents would have more say in their son's life, especially who's gonna rule.
I will say, like, from Belle in the like OG movies, Belle was more understanding to both sides. Like with the Beast, she obviously exchanged her place with her father when it came to that, because she looked at him, like gave him a full-on look.
Mm-hmm.
And
Milk.
yeah, and
But I mean, Belle even like referenced that like in the beginning of the movie when like the dad's getting angry about about Ben's decision to like bring the villain kids over.
and she's like,
Belle,
well,
Belle's
I gave you a second chance.
like she's like, no, hear him out. Like I gave you a second chance. They deserve one too. He's not wrong in that, but we need to hear him out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
This version of Belle is just not sticking.
and the actress who plays this version of Belle also plays the Blue Fairy
In Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
But
Sorry.
either way, Belle does not like Audrey.
No.
And then Ben drops the bomb. I'm dating Mal.
During a photo op. And so you just see Ben smiling as bright and as happy as ever. And then mom and dad with faces aghast.
And then here comes Mal.
And like Mal's like doing like all the kids at the aisle are just like it's like a picnic sort of like scene.
Yep.
And so like Carlos and Jay are eating chocolate covered strawberries. Evie's holding the dog. And then Mal's just like standing there like
Yeah.
playing like red
It was
croquet
croquet, yeah.
because
And during this croquet game, this elderly woman starts to walk by and is like, "Oh, how are you?" And like they're
Am I
talking,
it's you and Mal's like no.
and Audrey comes over and is like, "Don't get too close to her, mom and grandma, unless you want to take another like 100-year nap." And so obviously this ends up being
This is Audrey's.
the mom of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
And so obviously she's having has like a PTSD moment, trigger moment, where she sees Mal as like,
How are you so
and she
young?
doesn't register it being Mal, she registers it as Maleficent,
Maleficent.
and is like, "How did you stay young? How are you here?" And is freaking out. And Ben's like coming in like, hey, it's okay. Remember my proclamation? And she completely like gives it to him of like, "You're giving them an opportunity to destroy us." All of these like poison apples, and is like shows the grief of like, I miss every chance I had with my daughter. First steps, first words, all of it. And it's this really ugly moment because it creates a lot of commotion, and you see at this after everything kind of settles down, they're shaken up from it. Audrey and Jane are like talking shit about them, and it kind of just pushes them over the edge to make sure they go through with their plan to steal the wand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they all have lunch together.
Well, that's what I just brought up. Like they had like,
Yeah.
like after everything settled down.
So
And then everyone, like, all of the people from Auradon, like, kind of start then despising them too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, "Pfft." And then Mal does the spell to undo Jane's hair.
Yep. And so
do Jean's hair.
and so
And then Mal also
Like,
threatens, like,
to do more and
Yeah.
stuff because she's pissed off and hurt.
she's, yeah. I don't blame her though.
Not a bit, no.
Because this is like one of those things where it's like, it's really prejudice.
It's hugely prejudiced, and it's just focusing on their backgrounds, which was terrible to start off with. and everything, and they're just not giving them a chance.
When
And
they haven't necessarily done anything.
no. And
Like the most they did was like spray paint their lockers.
Which Ben encouraged to use in art class.
And
Yeah.
that was like, that would take the fun out of it. So like they don't know about the love potion, obviously. So like literally like, oh no.
And Mal still thinks Ben's on the love potion.
yeah. And so she starts making an undoing love potion because you can tell that she's starting to care for Ben because like when the villains take over at Auradon, him still being in love with me just
Seems
cruel.
too cruel.
Yeah, she was telling this to Evie because like they all are in the boys' dorm and they're like talking about like they've planned out every step of how this is going to go. And so Evie is like, "Why are you undoing why are you making an undo spell?" And that's what
Yeah.
Mal says. Like it would be unnecessarily cruel in a world where
And-
like the villains run everything.
Yeah. And then so you then hear a reprised version of If Only, the song from the lake, with them basically like almost like grieving what they've built already. Like in the short time they've been there, they've already like started to like grow their lives, like Jay and Carlos on the turning field and stuff.
Carlos
Evie
with
with
the
her
dog.
business
Evie-
and school.
And Mal's relationship with Ben, and Mal actually ends up shedding a tear into the potion and stuff, which when she was making the initial love potion, she made a comment of saying, I don't cry. So her crying over that shows like how much she's changed, which in all honesty, that's great character development. Like
Yeah.
showing that progression, but like that conflict within, you know?
I think Mal shows the most character progression out of this movie, though.
I would agree with that, and it makes sense.
Because, like, you really get to see more double side to more of like, because she was more willing to be a villain than
Mhm.
the rest of the kids.
Yep.
And so you kind of see more of like there's really two sides to every type of person. And Mal and like this willing to change a heart and from what she grew up on to what she wants and realizing.
Yeah. And so it cuts to Coronation Day.
It's Coordination Day.
And Ben and Mal are in a carriage together.
Yep, they're in a carriage, they're talking.
And he wants to give her his ring.
Yeah, so he has like his like royal like crest ring, and he was like, "Can you wear it?"
And Mal's like, it's too big for me. Oh no.
And
I was like,
so
yeah.
knowing that she's gonna like give him a like an anti-love potion or whatever, she like hands him the potion and goes, "Oh yeah, here's this for to like help keep your energy up." And he gives it to her point blank, like, "Oh yeah, well,
Well, he eats it.
oh yeah." Elisa goes, "Oh yeah, why wait?" And he goes, "No, no, 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 no." And he goes, "How are you feeling?" She goes, "I don't know. Let's."
Flip those pronouns around. He's spelling it backwards. She asks Ben how he's doing.
And then Ben is like, "I don't know. Let's see how long it takes for the anti-love potion to kick in." She goes, "Okay." What?
I love that scene right there. And then she's just like, "You knew?" And he's like, "Yeah, as soon as I went into the Enchanted Lake."
And she goes, "What? Have you just been faking?" And he just goes,
No.
I haven't been faking anything."
Then gives her his ring. It's kind of cute.
For those not on YouTube, I was cheesy with Megan for a moment and like had my hand on her arm when I said that.
And for those of you who are also not watching YouTube, I stuck my tongue out and made a disgusted face.
I just kind of awkwardly watched.
The reason is I really just don't want to be touched right now, and
Continue.
I don't want to be touched, and I don't like being cheesy in public. And I know we're technically not in public, but like also, Jonelle's here. Jonelle's like the guy friend. who's
I'm
wearing
the
a dress. It's weird to like be affectionate in front of the bro friend.
Wait, are we okay with hand
I
hugging?
don't know. Are we okay? No.
Okay.
Okay.
Megan, hand hug.
Um,
Wait, that's a wrong hand. That's the right hand.
okay. So back at the coronation, the villain parents are like watching on their TV and they see Snow White doing the reporting, and Evil Queen makes this comment of like, "Oh, you can tell she's definitely had work done,"
Yeah. Which is funny.
and so, um, everyone's like getting in their seats and everything,
And
and
then like they're also all of the villains are like paying attention to like who Snow White is announcing as well. And then Evil Queen brings up how when it was Mal that walks in, right? And she was like wearing a gown by Evie.
yeah, so they call out that Evie made Mal's ball gown, and um Maleficent has this big freak out because she goes, my daughter duped a prince and she's that much closer to getting the wand. And it's like, our revenge is today, woohoo!" And so the coronation starts. You see Ben walking down. Something about his eye weird and always like freaks me out when he's walking down the aisle.
He looks like sad.
He like, yeah, it's like a weird, like obviously like I would be emotional too if I was like becoming king or whatever, but his eyes like for some reason like don't match the situation. And so it's like he like walks down, um, and like
Fairy godmother pulls out her wand and is about to do like the thing you would with a sword and
and
woo,
like
Like
woo.
almost knighting.
and then we see a hand steals the wand and it like short circuits and
Bum bum bum. It's Jane.
yes, yes, Jane, her own daughter, stole the wand, not Mal, which they did a good job at that plot twist.
Yes, I loved
That was a good plot twist. But with Jane stealing the wand, she ended up doing like actually breaking the barrier,
Yeah,
which
unknowing, like not on purpose because like she's like yanking it around and then like poof.
yeah, she was trying to control it and couldn't.
And she's just like, why can't you make me pretty, Mom? Because Mal did change her hair.
Yeah.
And she was upset.
Mal put the thoughts in her head about needing to be prettier, and so she stole the wand before Mal did. And so the barrier gets broken. You see Maleficent gets her staff and like whooshes herself in a very wicked like fashion.
Not the musical, like the adjective.
No, like the musical.
Oh, okay.
Because she does like the whole thing with she's like, hey, like Elphaba does.
Yeah.
Which is a callback, but instead of playing Alphaba, she plays Glenda, the actress who plays
Yeah.
Maleficent. I think it's funny.
And so
But anyways, poof,
well-
she's now at the coronation.
well, so Maleficent's on her way to the coronation. Mal gets the wand away from Jane
Yeah.
and is like, get back, we need to do our thing, not knowing that Maleficent's already on her way. And Ben's able to talk them out of it basically, and they're like, I want to be good. Cause like Jay loves like victory and getting pizza with the team.
And Carlos, who would have known, dude, was your best friend.
Yeah.
And Evie's like really smart and is doing so good. And Mal wants to be with Ben and go to school. That was such a weird. Even I'm like,
Ben, and I really want to go to school.
it's that was probably the cringe. That was like the most cringy part of the movie.
And let's just make something clear. There's a lot of people who love school. Like I really liked school back in high school. It's not that. It's literally Mel has never once expressed through this entire movie that she liked the academic part of being at school.
Because I want to go to school and be with Ben.
So like we're laughing at it because
me.
it's just like
And so
babe,
so they
it's okay. You can just want Ben.
so they have this like yay victory moment, and then it's like, oh shit, that's my mom.
And
And
then
Ellie tells her mom to go away.
was it Mal who freezes time or was it
It's Maleficent.
Maleficent?
It was Maleficent, so everyone's like freaking out. Maleficent's there, and like
In another time, in another time.
so I believe so so she's like, give me the wand, and Mal acts like she's giving it her, throws it to Fairy Godmother, who goes bibbity bobbity, and then Maleficent goes boo and freezes everyone.
Goes over to the beast and she's like, in another time, in another time.
And it starts like messing with them.
Yeah, with his
Yeah.
glasses more specifically. And then she like puts Ben in a weird position.
So she's like, in another time, goes to fairy godmother, and she goes, oops, someone forgot to pluck their noses. With Ben, I feel the most bad for her. She like smacks his face to look at her, messes with his crown, and smacks his face back.
I shout out the actors who like they've had to probably retake that scene like so many damn times. Who just gets smacked around by Maleficent.
And then you have epic duel between
Mal.
the VKs and Maleficent.
Villain kids. VKs.
Yeah, they end up referring to the villain kids as VKs in the later movies. So
Which, if you don't know, VK is villain kids.
yes. And so
And then the four of them, they join hands.
well, Maleficent turns into a dragon.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, if they didn't let her turn into a dragon, it would have been a lost cause.
Yeah.
John would have started a war.
Yeah, I would have.
Specifically him.
I would have. And so
I forgot the chant that they say though, but the four
so
of them.
so so there's this thing between Mal and her mom where they basically have this like magical
Stare off.
I don't want to say it's a stare off. It's
It is,
like
but it's
a,
also like a will thing.
Yeah. In the movie, it looks like a stare off of like who has more power, you know, like
yeah.
I can stare
But it's like
longer.
but it's like them like exerting like pressure onto like through magic of like mentally challenging them.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's like it's a will thing.
And so
I just see it
in the
as
Staring
in the
on the nest.
beginning of the movie, we see that like they do that and Mal ends up losing. But in this one, Mal's chanting like the spell, the good of evil is good as none. Like when stands before four hearts is one. Which obviously is her and her friends, fun fact.
It's
And
friendship
so they end up
magic.
having this like challenge moment between Mal and, her dragon mom. And Mal ends up winning, and because of the spell, it shrinks Maleficent down
to the love of her heart.
to the amount of love in her heart, which is like a little itty bitty bearded dragon size.
Yeah. Maleficent turns into a little lizard.
And Fairy Godmother is the only one to unfreeze at this moment and explains it, gets the wand. She gives the wand, like the ring back to Mal because Maleficent took it and goes bibbidi bobbidi boo, and like everyone unfreezes. Now, about when everyone was frozen. Sorry, you got an earful of this last night when we watched it. Chad and Doug are the most hilarious people during those moments. Almost every they have like because they're literally like embracing each other in fear and they keep changing positions and their facial expressions change. It is hilarious. Like at one point, Doug has this like scared, like funny grimace where he goes,
Okay, I need to go back and watch this now.
it's so funny. But they end up like everyone starts celebrating and dance party at the end.
Let's take it off. Oh yeah.
And so
Oh yeah, but everything does unfreeze, and then like Ben was obviously still in this like attack mode when he was frozen, and then he's like, "Roar!" And then Mal's like, "Honey, we got it.
We're done here."
We're done." Yeah.
How
Like-
embarrassing.
so
And then they go off into their singing dance break, and then if you continue to watch, I've seen the movie so many times that I like watched it once for that extra cut scene. But every time now I just skip through it. But they then lead on to the next movie.
yeah, they like Mal has this moment where she's looking at the camera with her green eyes. She goes, "You didn't think this was over, did you?"
And that's when Megan in high school got very disappointed that there's gonna be more movies.
Hint, hint, there's going to be more.
Episodes of this podcast. Stay tuned.
Yes. So yeah, that's the whole movie.
I want to say this now. I think that the last song in the movie was probably the least
Fun.
in the entire movie, but also it's my least favorite closing song in the entire trilogy.
Okay,
Agreed.
here's the thing. I hate all of the closing songs.
I don't.
I like the dances to the closing songs, but
I
agree
like the
song-
dance to the second one, but the first and third one. And I hate all the closing songs, which is why I stopped the movie when it gets to the last song.
Yeah, I find it boring. And I don't know, it's not very, let's see, we're at an hour 12.
Okay.
15 minutes, give or take past the hour.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh well. Um.
I want to make a joke to another podcast, but I'll
Well,
say that after this.
Well, like I wanted to like ask you guys because this movie is like all about like Disney parents and stuff. Like I was gonna ask like if you had to like have a Disney parent, which one do you think would be like your Disney parent?
Oh, I think we've talked about this before.
I know that
We have.
you and I have.
We've talked about the gods and Hercules of like who would our parents be out of like.
Well,
three
no, like
gods?
you and me personally.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Shoot.
in all honesty, as much as I like personally, I genuinely would love to be a child of Maleficent. That'd be so much fun. Oh,
Neglect and abuse, my dude.
I just love Maleficent so much.
I
What?
think I've talked about how I would love to be like a child of Cinderella just because I do love Cinderella.
That's not.
But I don't want to be ditzy like Chad. God.
I think that in all actuality, my Disney parent would probably end up being Dopey. I think I would be Doug's brother.
I don't know who my Disney parent would be.
Like I would love Cinderella because, you know, they have a happy marriage. It seems like there's some
Tinkerbell?
I think Tinkerbell for you.
Tinkerbell?
Tinkerbell from the Tinkerbell franchise.
You know what? Maybe
Not the Peter Pan movies.
okay, if we're going off of that and the one like Once Upon a Time, give me Captain Hook. And
Captain
Tinkerbell?
Guyliner.
I'll be there.
Tinkerbell? Bro.
Based off of appearance, Tinkerbell.
I was like, if we're going
Are
off
you
the Once
telling
Upon a
me that I
Time-
have a big butt?
You got the hips for days.
You got pregnancy hips. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, pregnancy hips are one thing. Tinkerbell?
You are also tiny.
Okay. This is the man who once told me that my Disney parents would be Quasimodo and Tinkerbell.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't say this.
Yes, you
No.
yes, you did.
No.
You remember, yeah.
No.
Yes.
I disagree with you on this. I know for a fact I never said this.
I know for a fact you did. I could tell you the exact date this happened too.
No, you can't. You forget dates like there's no tomorrow.
October
All right, friends.
2021.
Okay, friends. We'll continue this fight on Descendants too.
Yes, see you next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our Patreon.
We should have added that somewhere in the middle, but we were on a tangent. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Who would be
Yes.
your Disney parents? Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, let us know who you would either think your Disney parent is or who you would want your Disney parent to be.
Please comment. We really want to talk to you people.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.